Hello crafties, welcome to another video. My name is Infiniti and today I am back with another awesome tutorial. So about, I want to say a month ago, I posted this pattern on the Facebook page and across my other various social media, letting you guys know that it's available for purchase over on Ravelry. However, because I am in the spring kind of Eastery spirit, I wanted to make a free tutorial for you guys to follow along with. If you do need that written pattern, it is for sale over on my Ravelry page for $2.50, and that would help me out a lot with running the channel and doing other various things. So alright, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So first page aside, the materials needed. You're going to need at least one color of yarn. Now whether or not you do color work is totally up to you. I don't do it because it's such a small little thing, but one color of yarn. You're going to need a 5mm crochet hook or US size 8. You're going to need some safety eyes. Now these I got off of eBay. They were very inexpensive, but other people find them like on Amazon and in other places. You're also going to need a darning needle. You're going to need some scissors or some snips. You're also going to want polyfill. Now if you bought the pattern and you're following along with this video, you'll see that I have stitch markers and embroidery floss on my list of things as well. The stitch marker kind of is a must because it helps you keep up with the count. The embroidery floss is optional. If you want to do some surface embroidery or sewing or surface crochet, you can on these. No big deal. So moving on. My abbreviations list. Again, if you've bought the written pattern, this might be helpful to you. I hope it is. I try to include them in all of my patterns. And now on to the pattern itself. So I know on the screen all you guys are seeing is this big hunk of text, but that's a-okay. Gonna move my earbuds. And I'm going to start pulling out the center of my yarn, which is over here. There we go. So what I'm working with today is kind of it's Red Heart Chunky, so it is a little thicker than my original little egg guy. But I'm going to start this off with a magic ring. So if you don't know what a magic ring is, I do have a tutorial back on my channel. It's a little earlier. Check that out. Okay, so I've made my magic ring, and my pattern says to chain 1, which I have done already, and then I'm supposed to make 12 single crochets in the ring. So I'm going to go ahead and make that first single crochet. And then I am going to insert my stitch marker in my pattern. I tell you guys to do that so you can go ahead and start keeping count. So this first row, like I said, is 12 and we already have one down. I'm going to go ahead and make the other 11. So there's 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and pull close my little magic circle here. So if you're looking to actually purchase this pattern, again, it is on my Ravelry page, and that is always linked down in my description. So go ahead, check that out. Check out my other social media as well. Magic circle wants to be stubborn today. And cinching it closed. Okay, so now that I have my 12 single crochets in my ring, I'm just going to move my stitch marker into that last stitch and close it. Now what I shall do is go on to round 2, and it says to make 1 single crochet in each stitch around for a total of 24 stitches. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So in this next stitch I am making 2 single crochets, or as you would call it, an increase. Okay, and I'm going to make these increases in every stitch around for this entire row. I'm also going to be weaving in my tail as I go, so I do not have to do that later. You're going to have this little hole at the top, but you can sew that closed later. That's not something that you can deal with. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, I'm pulling back, making sure that I have all my stitches. Okay, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and from here on out you want to make sure you're working into this stitch with the stitch marker so you come out with the right number of stitches. So as soon as I remove that, I'm going to have stitches 23 and 24, and I can just replace my stitch marker just like that. Alright, so now on the pattern it says rounds 3 through 5. You are to make 1 single crochet in each stitch around for a total of 24 stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm here at round 6, and my pattern now tells me to place a single crochet in the first 2 stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and identify that first stitch, put a single crochet there, and then I'm going to put a single crochet in the next stitch, and then this third stitch I'm going to make an increase, so that's putting 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And that is my pattern for this row. So again, that's putting 1 in the next stitch, 1 in the next stitch, and 2 in the third stitch. And I'm going to continue and work that around. Up on those last stitches. Alright, and you should end off with 1 stitch left, and you should have 36 stitches from this round. Okay, now rows 7 through 9, it says to place 1 single crochet in each stitch in the round, so you'll still have a total of 36 stitches. Finishing off row 7, moving up that stitch marker, into row 8, And now I'm headed into row 9. Now, depending on the yarn that you're using, my little egg might look a little bigger than yours, and that's okay. Again, I'm using Red Heart Chunky. For my first twin that is pictured, I used Red Heart Super Saver, so the size of the yarn does matter. I'm just going to keep on going into row 9. Kind of quickly making these single crochets. Feel free to pause the video or slow it down. Even you can hit the little gear head on the video and slow it down to whatever speed you need to. And that is the end of row 9. Just going to move up my stitch marker. Alright, now I have finished row 12. Row 13 is a simple row. You just work one single crochet in each stitch around. Alright, now we're done with row 13. It's coming together, guys. So we're going to go on to round 14. I'm so used to calling them rows. Round 14 says to make a single crochet in the first 2 stitches and then decrease in the next stitch, and you should have 24. Sounds about right. So this one's going to be kind of big and beefy as compared to my other one. Anywho, gonna go ahead and just 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and then just decrease. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, decrease. So yeah, guys, the printed pattern that I am using here today, that is actually the pattern that is over on Ravelry, so they do look exactly the same. If you want to add it to your collection, that would be great. It'd be helping me out, and I'm sure that whoever you'd be making these eggs for would love them as well. Be part of your permanent collection. 1, 2, decrease. 1, 2, decrease. 1, 2, decrease. 1, 2, decrease. Hope I have enough stuffing pulled out. 1, 2, decrease. 1, 2. I'm just going to end that with a normal single crochet. Alright. It's almost an egg. Oh my gosh. Round 15. You're just going to move that stitch marker on up and grab mine. And you're going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch around. that stitch marker up. Now round 16, you're going to make a single crochet in the first stitch and then decrease in the next stitch. So I'm going to make one, and then across the next two I'm just going to decrease, one, and decrease, I was supposed to decrease there. Lost my train of thought. It happens. And decrease. Decrease, and one. This row actually ends on a decrease. So needless to say, this is a pattern that can be expanded, and you can grow this bigger than the little small handheld size, but these are cute for Easter egg hunts, I think. Should be so much fun. So at the row, or at the end of round 16, I like to grab another stitch marker and just slip it in that loop, because now the pattern is telling us to stuff it. So at this point, I want to flip my egg on the right side. If you weren't working on the right side already, I wasn't this time, but you know. And I have some polyfill off to the side. I don't think this is enough for this egg, so I'm gonna just jump up and grab some more really quick. Oops. Alright, so I grabbed about twice as much polyfill as I already had. Stuff at your discretion. I love to overstuff things and make them super plush and fluffy, so, you know, live your life. And you're just going to open them up and start stuffing your fill in the hole. But also, I want to make mention that you could possibly start putting on your safety eyes, because I did both at this stage. And you can, if you have an assortment of them, decide which size is appropriate for your little egg. I thought for my first one that, you know, the smaller eyes would work, but this one, because she's so much bigger, I think I'm gonna use the bigger safety eyes, and that I need to get the backs on them. Using these are super easy. You just push the little backings on them, making sure these are both the same size. You're just gonna push the little backings on them. Real simple. No magic work. And they shouldn't come off, so they should be okay for small kids, but use your discretion on that. There we go. And you're going to get some resistance of pushing those on there, so no worries. Alright, and just kind of making sure they're lined up so they're not all strange looking. It takes but a second or two. And pushing that on. Okay, and it's gonna look a little weird till you stuff it, so don't worry about that either. Now I'm gonna start stuffing it in there. And I have little fingers, so it's easy for me to stuff these things, but if this hole is too small for your hands for some reason, you can always use the end of your hook or a popsicle stick to just kind of stuff that stuff in there. So yeah, I don't want this to lose its shape, so that's another reason that I overstuff things, but hey, you know. And her eyes are higher up than my other ones, and that's okay. Already coming together. So now at this point, I'm just going to continue on with my pattern. So that means I'm just going to remove this stitch marker here and move on to row 17. And I'm just going to make one single crochet in each stitch around. Moving my stitch marker up. I'm just working those stitches. And if you are new to making amigurumi, holding them while they're stuffed can be a little awkward, but if, you know, with practice and patience, you'll get it. Okay. Gonna move up that stitch marker. And of course you can continue to stuff this even more if you feel that you don't have enough stuffing in there. Like I do and I don't, but I'll wait a row before I go in, because there's a hollow spot in there. No hollow spots. Okay, row 18, make a decrease in every stitch. So what that means is basically from the get-go, we're just gonna get into making those decreases. And this is gonna close up really quick on us. So again, this is like last call for that stuffing. And if you need to pause midway of this row to continue stuffing, do so. I'm gonna go ahead and stuff some more in there. Okay, now I think she's good. And I'm going to keep decreasing this row. Excuse my background noise. It's a little wild up there. And I'm having my own party. So, coming up on that last couple sets of decreases. Seriously crazy up there, you know? Great. Now I'm going to take out this stitch marker. And drum roll, we are on the last row. This is row 19. So all your stuffing should be in at this point. I'm never quite satisfied, but you know what? It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna leave it alone. And I am going to just proceed to make one single crochet in each stitch around, which isn't that hard to do. You should probably have like 6 stitches at this point. So, and if it helps, you can leave that stitch marker in until you reach the end. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. With certain projects, it just depends. Alright. Alright, and once you get to this point, you can just go ahead, take out that stitch marker, toss it to the side. You don't need it anymore. Huzzah. We have reached the end of this pattern. The last step to this is to find a stitch that is adjacent to the one you just made that last single crochet in, and just yarn over and make a slip knot. And that fastens it off. You can just chain 1 and pull up your loop. I'm gonna come over here, grab my nifty little scissors, snip, and cinch that closed. I have another egg friend. So what you can do to get it to shape up is just basically what I'm doing, manipulating the fill from the outside, squeezing it around, shaping it, you know, making it look however you want it to look. And there we go. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If so, go ahead, leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up. Let's not forget to sew in our straight end. Yeah, like I said, thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what kind of future, like, helpful little tutorials would you like to see, what kind of content would you like to see beginning to get uploaded. This is April, so, you know, the summer is upon us. I look forward to doing so much more. I think in June I'm going to take a bit of a break, but aside from that, I'll be back in business in July and ready to create more with you all and for you all. And so until next time, guys, happy making.